Everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please drop that like and subscribe. As you guys know, after tomorrow I'll be traveling. I'll be back on Friday. I'll be trying to record Tuesday and Wednesday from where I am in a different setup. And then on Friday I'll be here. That will be the last travel of the year. And hopefully even, January I will not be going anywhere. February it's a little bit harder to say, but I hope that's the case. I wanted to make this video to kind of clarify a little bit certain things that I've mentioned in my previous video around top signals and all of this, because I think it created a lot of confusion. For the older followers of the channel, you guys know, and I've just said this in the previous video, I think if Ethereum goes to 2950, somewhere between 2,925 and 2,950, that would actually be very bullish. We retest the 50 weekly moving average. We get everybody depressed about Ethereum, and then we can go up from there as the last weekends get sold out. I think Ethereum will do well. I've always said it. I've said since 2023, this has been almost 2 years ago, I said, I think by the end of the cycle, Bitcoin will go from 242,000 to 276,000, and Ethereum will go somewhere between 25 and 29,000 before the end of 2025. And I even said most likely somewhere around September, October 2025. Now, people have changed their predictions. They have pushed them forward. Some of them say 2026 because it's going to be a super extended cycle, all of these things. I am the person who's been consistent for years now. I've never changed, and I made a promise to all of you, which is if we do get those numbers, I will let you know why I thought that. Because I was asked, why do you think, why those ranges so specific? I promised at the end of the cycle, if we get there, I'll tell you why. But I always said, throughout all the corrections, all the periods where nothing moves, all of that, I said 2025, 2025, 2025. And I've discussed bottom signals and I've discussed top signals. Actually, I did an exercise with all of you, if you guys remember. I was making a few videos about bottom signals, and then we got that big sell-off during the Japanese stock market debacle. You remember, August 5th or something like that. And I said, hey guys, this is a bottom. You see, you remember what I've been talking about? This is the last time you're going to see Bitcoin at 40,000 range in history. So enjoy. Now, every channel was predicting Bitcoin 30K, only half the carry trade was done, blah, 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 30K, 28K, 32K, all sorts of ranges. I came and said, this is actually very bullish. We get a clear bottom. We now can go up. And do I think we are at the top right now? No, I don't. What I said is I think Ethereum will outperform from now on, particularly Solana and Bitcoin. Now, why is this not so difficult to understand? If you look, this all depends on how you look at it. When Bitcoin went to $70,000 from the bottom, which was 15,750 or so, okay, I know if you look at Bitfinex is one thing, if you look at Coinbase is another, I get it. But let's make a round number, let's say 15,750, okay, it's not very far from that. From 15,750 to 70,000, that's a 4.44x. That's a 444% gain. If we go from 70 to 250,000, that's a 3.67x, 357%. That means that even in the scenario where we go to 250,000, which, as you guys just heard me say, I said 242 to 276, the bigger part of the gains of Bitcoin in this scenario already happened between the bottom and 70,000. If you look at it at 90,000, it's even worse, obviously. That means that even a bigger percentage of the gains already happened. Now, does that mean that this is bearish? Of course not. Do you understand? 200%. That's 20 years of the S&P 500. Do you think that's bearish? I mean, for this, it all depends on what you're looking at. If you're putting in $5,000, sure, a 3x doesn't excite you. I mean, it's great because you get, maybe you get some very good vacations for free. But it's not going to do it in terms of retirement and stuff like that. That's way past us. Same thing, even for Ethereum. If it does a 10x from here or 8x from here, it's the same problem. But is it bearish? No. Why? Because for people, particularly with a lot of money, so for example, if I had billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, a 3x is more than enough. If I have 300 million, I have 900. In this scenario with Bitcoin, I would have $1 billion more or less. That's more than enough by me. I don't need, you see the point? I don't need, a 30x, a 50x, a 100x, a 150x. I don't need any of it. But is that bearish in nature? No, of course not. I've been very bullish, very consistently. Everybody throwing their hands up in the air. I mentioned that I was expecting a correction after the halving of about 35 to 40%. That's exactly what we got. We went over there. As soon as we touched that, I became extremely bullish. We've gone up every single day since then. And I said, before the end of November, you're going to see Bitcoin above 80K. This was at a time that people were predicting Bitcoin 30K, right? And now we got Bitcoin above 80K, and I've said that I would expect Ethereum to cross 5,000 before the end of December. So this is not a bearish person. But I have to say, if I see Coinbase being the number 8 downloaded app, if I see Google Trends starting to really explode, if I see people on Twitter asking, hey, can Dogecoin go to $90,000 a coin just like Bitcoin? When I start seeing things like this, that means retail is arriving. Is retail here at full force? No. Are we in max liquidity? No. In fact, I think retail will be a bit less relevant this time around, because I wouldn't be surprised if we have FOMO by institutional players rather than your typical degenerate, trading, that they've been trading penny stocks and now they heard about crypto and now they're coming in and they're asking which is the best exchange to download and to do all of this kind of stuff, right? Now, I also said there's a big upside in which then my targets mean nothing, which is if the US does create a strategic reserve and they say, we're gonna buy X amount of Bitcoin per month, regardless of the price. We don't care if it's $1 million a coin. We don't care if it's 10 million a coin. In fact, if there's a 50% sell-off, we're gonna double down because then we're gonna scoop up cheaper prices. Then I don't know what to tell you. Then anything can happen, obviously, because the governments are not traders. They are not investment managers. They are not looking at P&Ls. They don't give a crap, right? They just buy. If they want something, just buy it, whatever price it is. Is that been announced yet? No. There's a bill going through, for approval in which the US would eventually accumulate a million Bitcoin. If that would be about 200,000 a year. Obviously, we are producing about 325,000 coins a year. If you have the US buying 200K, that's more than half of the new supply. And then, of course, it creates the game theory environment in which it incentivizes other countries to do the same, even countries that don't believe in Bitcoin. Why? Because let's say they are wrong, and then the US has a massive improvement. This is a massive thing that's never seen before, and we missed it, right? So we can't take that risk. So we need to kind of tag along, at least to benefit partially, if this happens on that side. I mean, and there's something that's going to attract also smaller countries, which is I've seen very few people talking about this. If Bitcoin hits $100,000, El Salvador will have enough money to repay its IMF loan that was given to them to basically save the country. And usually these IMF loans are extremely damaging to the countries because they have conditions that are impossible to pay. So if El Salvador manages to pay such a loan with Bitcoin, that is a very good story. At the same time, it means that there's going to be a big sell-off, right? At least for a moment of time. But the point is, it will open the door, or it will open the eyes of other countries to try and do something similar. So in summary, am I bullish? Yes. Do I think the top is in? No. Do I still think 2025? Yes. Has it changed? No. Has my targets changed? So far, no. But I've always used this caveat. Depends. I mean, if the European Union, Japan, China, US, they all say, oh, we're going to buy Bitcoin like there's no tomorrow. Sure. I mean, then anything is possible, right? Then we're talking, there's no measurement. The models don't make any sense. The cycles don't make any sense anymore. So we need to wait for it. But one thing that I know is this. Next year, when the bull market really kicks in, people will tell me that this time is different. And this time we're going to see a buy the rumor, buy the news event. And this time it can't go down because of this and that and the other. And that will tell me that at least we are in for somewhat of a correction. And when I talk about tops, they are not the same thing. Example, Bitcoin can well go to September, October 2025 and have its top over there. But what did I say about altcoins? A large number of altcoins top 12 months after the halving. That would be April 2025. Now, since we've been front-running the cycles quite a bit, about 2 to 3 weeks, let's say it's end of March, beginning of April 2025, which, by the way, coincides with tax season in the US, and it coincides with the supposedly timing of the approval of this bill that went through the Senate for the US government to buy 1 million coins over the span of 4 years. So that would actually be an interesting top signal for at least a massive correction in Bitcoin, just like it happens typically during that time period. And then we have a big ramp up into the end of the year, making the top that I'm expecting in September or October 2025, particularly mostly October 2025. Very importantly, not all the altcoins will make new highs in October 2025. Some of them will make their tops, in my view, somewhere around late March, early April 2025. That's it. Currency continues to get debased. Liquidity is accelerating just on cue again. The cycles are repeating just on cue again. The environment is building just like before. There's no difference. It's just things are bigger now and the players are bigger as well. But I've said this before. Do you think the BlackRock ETFs and the other ETFs were buying heavily when Bitcoin was in the 50s? No. But they were buying heavily when it went above 80. It's the same Bitcoin. But they make the same mistakes. A lot of institutional players wanted to see green candles. They had months and months and months to accumulate at 50K, but they didn't, just like the majority of retail didn't do it as well. But as soon as the green candles come, then they also come. Just a point of attention for Pulsechain X, EX, etc., which is seeming to start to show some good signs of life. Just a point of advice on a very positive manner, because I've selected those coins, what I call the retirement coins, but I'm not your traditional Exican or Pulsecan. I'm not, I talk about many things besides it. I was never hoping to be a cheerleader or a guru or anything like that. But I have to say something which is not very popular, but I will say it anyways. If you want to attract people to your ecosystem, berating them how they are stupid for liking meme coins, or insulting them because you think that they are so stupid that they don't understand how powerful these assets are, it's not a very good way to attract people. You see, I can have two stores. one store is average, the other store is excellent with top-notch products. But if I go to that store and I get insulted as soon as I get in, I will probably go out. Particularly if you've been predicting things for a long time and they're not happening, or they haven't happened, or they actually went to the complete opposite. So I don't see the value, or I don't see the intelligence behind insulting your potential customers. Just something that I've noticed. Because most people, they don't have time they are not in crypto full time. They don't understand all the details, and they are not, and they go into a community, and if they see drama everywhere, it's not that great. So we can focus on the positives. We need to be patient. We need to understand the narratives of this cycle. Meme coins have been the winners by far. There's no comparison possible. They've outperformed everything. Embrace it. Don't fight it. Don't insult it. Try to make people see why you are so good rather than insulting how stupid they've been. Just a small piece of unrequested advice, my 2 cents. I hope it doesn't offend anyone, but it's just a feeling that I get sometimes looking at some of the Twitters, of the X posts and so on. But, being positive, which is all about, I think we'll have our time to shine very brightly in the future. I've been positive about Ethereum for a long time. When Ethereum really pumps, I don't want to hear any kind of excuses. There's been enough time to do something about it. But once again, I'm just a random guy with a mask on YouTube, giving my opinions, spewing what I'm seeing out there. Am I right? I would say most of the times, yes. Have I been wrong? Yes, as well. Am I trying to convince you to do anything? No. This channel is for people to look back in time one day and see, okay, here's a guy who was just like me, guy in the middle class in his early 30s, and he made it into financial retirement within 2 years, and he talked about it, he explained it, he explained his thoughts process every step of the way. And it would have been possible for everyone to do the same. That's it. Not to create I will never sell you anything. I will never, promote anything in terms of that will result in financial benefit to me. I'm here to broadcast my journey. If you guys find it exciting, please tune in. If you don't, please tune out. Up to you. And with that, I hope that I've clarified a few of these points. I think they were important. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll catch you in the next one.